Shabbat Shalom. It's really a joy to be here with you this Shabbat, and it was a joy to be with the women of the sisterhood last night. We had such a wonderful night together. I want to thank all the clergy who welcomed me so warmly. And, tonight I said to the women last night that this Shabbat is a very special Shabbat because it's Shabbat of Lech Lecha, and it's a Shabbat of special power. And I was thinking a lot about what you said, Rabbi Beres, about the splitting of Yam Suf. You know, there were quite a large number of our people who preferred and who wanted to go back to Egypt than to keep going. Because there's something about certainty that's more comforting than uncertainty. Even the certainty of slavery is more comforting than the unknown. And this Shabbat is the Shabbat of Lech Lecha. It's the Shabbat where God tells Avraham Avinu to go. Get up and go. And that's not an easy thing. And it's really an incredible push that God gives them. And you know what? This Shabbat, there's 3 Bnei Mitzvah for Lexi, Sol, and Jacob. And you have a very special parsha because it's really God telling all of us to begin a journey, to go. And as you know, it's not always easy to push on into an unknown future. And sometimes you need a push to get going. And this Shabbos, I thought that I would share with you a very personal story about a push that I received that really changed the direction of my life. Okay? Sometimes you think you want something, but you don't want it badly enough to actually risk discomfort for it. As a Yiddish proverb says, the cat likes the fish, but she doesn't want to wet her paws. And sometimes you want something very badly, but still there are forces preventing you from taking action. Forces that keep you standing on the dock when you so want to jump in the water and start swimming. And sometimes, every once in a while, you get lucky, and somebody just gives you a push just at that moment when you need it the most. You're standing there hesitating on the dock, and somebody pushes you into the water, not in a cruel way, but in a way of caring. And thinking about my brother Danny always calls to mind that one word, push. He's 8 years older than I am, and the 2 stories I remember most about my childhood with him are both times when he pushed me. The first story, I was 8, he was 16. Our older sister Mimi was visiting Israel at the time, and she mailed me a beautiful sterling silver ring with my Hebrew name engraved on it. And I was so excited to receive this present from her, but when I tried on the ring, I saw that it was too small for me. Danny said, "Oh, let me see that ring." He took it. "Oh, it's not too small for you." And he took my hand and he pushed that ring on my finger. You see, it fits. Well, it didn't take very long for me to realize that I couldn't get the ring off. "Danny, the ring's stuck. I can't get it off." "Nonsense," he said. He pulled and he tugged, nothing. Then he took soap, nothing. Then he took oil, nothing. Ice cubes, nothing. Soon my fingers started to turn purple and started swelling up, and Danny turned white. And my mom came home, and it was 7 o'clock on a Friday night in Borough Park, a very Hasidic neighborhood in Brooklyn. And I remember walking around with her from store to store until we found the only jewelry store that wasn't Shomer Shabbos. And the jeweler had cut that ring off my finger, and my mom saved it all the years. Danny's first push, not that helpful. 9 years passed. Now I was 17, and Danny was 25 and in his 4th year of medical school. A year and a half earlier, our father had been murdered in a mugging in Brooklyn, walking down the street. My 3 older siblings were all adults who had moved out of the house years before. A house that had once been filled with laughter and celebration and music, with 4 kids running around and 2 parents madly in love with each other, had fallen silent. And now it was just me and my mom living alone in our pain and in our mourning. It was my senior year of high school, and I was supposed to be thinking about moving out and going off to college. But honestly, I couldn't think at all. And my mom was in no state of mind to help me. So there was no college tour for me, nobody telling me where to apply. And of course, I had so many mixed emotions. My mom wanted me to go off to school, but she also wanted me to be with her. I was her baby, her comfort. I wanted to leave, but I couldn't bear the thought, the guilt of leaving my mother to live all by herself alone. As a mother myself now, I completely understand what my mom was going through. Several years ago, our son Adi decided that he wanted to spend a semester in Israel, and he was only in 10th grade. He was only 15 years old, and part of me really wanted him to go and have a great educational and life experience, but a much bigger part of me wanted him to stay home and be with me. In the end, Adi went to Israel, and I missed him so much that I took to wearing his sweatshirts and t-shirts every single day. Our daughter Noah, who's a total fashionista, she said to me, "Mom, you've got to stop wearing Adi wear." One day she said, "If somebody gave me a choice between what you're wearing right now and death, honestly, I'd pick death." She even wrote away to the TV show What Not to Wear. And I got an email from them. She said to them, "Help me. You've got to help my mom. She only wears my brother's t-shirts. Teach her how to dress." So back then, in the fall of my senior year in high school, I could so see the possibility of never leaving my mother. And I could so understand the fate of the unlucky child, the one who gets caught in the vortex of a family problem and can't ever seem to be free of it. Right across the street from my childhood home, there was a family just like that, the Kiselewskis. Mama Kiselewski was in her 90s, and she actually lived with her 3 grown children who were all in their 70s. They had never married. They had never left home. Maybe I would never leave home. It was December 29th, the day before my brother Danny's wedding. He drove down from Boston with Sue, his bride-to-be, and there was so much to take care of just the day before their wedding, so many plans to finalize, the table seating, dealing with the rabbi and the cantor and the florist and the caterer, and on and on. Well, Danny came into our living room and he says to me, "Hey, kiddo, how are those college applications going?" I sat there frozen on the couch. He repeated, "How's it going with the applications?" I looked at him with a blank stare. "I didn't do it. I don't know where to apply. I don't know what to say. I didn't apply anywhere." "Know me? When are they due?" January 1st? The next thing I knew, Danny was rummaging around in our basement And then he came back upstairs with my mom's baby blue Brother manual typewriter. And he set up a card table in the middle of our living room, and my soon-to-be sister-in-law, Sue, was sitting at that table with the typewriter, and Danny was pacing back and forth and dictating as she typed. Together, they filled out all the forms, and then Danny wrote my college essay. It was all about recombinant DNA. I tell you, I didn't understand a word of it. I just sat there on the couch like a lost sheep. This went on all day long, the day before Danny's wedding. Danny dictating, Sue typing, me watching. By nightfall, all the applications were sealed and stamped and ready to go. And Danny never said to me, "What's wrong with you?" Or "Why did you wait so long?" He never said anything, really. But in his eyes, I understood what he was trying to say to me. He was saying, "Naomi, go. It's time for you to go. It's time for you to start living. I'm giving you permission to go. Go out the door. Go to college. Learn. Live. Have fun. Go." Danny's first push, not that helpful. His second push saved my life. Oh, it's hard to leave a world you're familiar with. It's hard to press on into an unknown future. But living on the dock isn't really living, is it? No. Thank you. Danny got me in to Cornell University. And for some time, I was ashamed to tell anyone that he had filled out my application and written my essay for me. But I guess I'm okay with it now. I guess I'm okay with the way the whole story is unfolding still. Danny likes to say that he didn't get into Cornell the first time he applied when he was in high school, but he got in the second time. And I've tried to repay the favor. When it was time for all three of his kids' bar and bat mitzvahs, I helped each one of them with their speeches, and I delivered the sermon at each of their services. And when each of his kids applied to college, you know who helped each one of them with their essays. Did someone once give you a push that changed the very course of your life? Are you stuck in some area of your life right now? Do you maybe need a push? I pray that you accept this Shabbat of Lech Lecha as a time of openings, as you're called to say, "Count me in." And if you need help, I pray, reach out and ask someone for help. And if you know someone, if you love someone in your life who might need a push, please offer them your push. With gentleness, with selflessness and love. You never know when you're going to encounter someone who will change the course of your life. Sometimes you get lucky, and somebody gives you a push just at the moment when you need it the most. Every new life begins with something as simple as a push. So may this Shabbat of Lech Lecha be a new time of blessings for you. May you take a step in a new direction and watch how the seas part before you. Shabbat Shalom. Amen.